Welcome to our training session of Pai Lum Tao. I am Grandmaster Glenn C. Wilson from Orlando, Florida, and I'm very pleased to be here to assist you in your training of Pai Lum Tao, a very revered, secretive system which has affected many people's lives in a very positive way. And I am very honored and pleased to have two of our associates with us today, very prominent martial arts figures throughout the world, and that is Sifu Don the Dragon Wilson and Sifu Cynthia Rothrock. They are Pai Lum Tao practitioners. They train with our family, and we're very pleased to have you be a part of our family on these training sessions. So welcome to Pai Lum Tao, the way of the White Dragon, and in the spirit of the White Dragon.
Welcome to Pai Lum Tao. My name is Cynthia Rothrock. I was very honored that Master Glenn Wilson asked me to be part of this training video because Pai Lum Tao is one of my original styles. Pai Lum Tao has had a major influence on my life. It introduced me to the Kung Fu techniques which helped me become #1 forms competitor for 5 years in a row and also led to a successful movie career.
Hi, I'm Don the Dragon Wilson, and I began my martial arts in 1972 studying Pai Lum Tao, which was the style of the late great Grandmaster Daniel K. Pai. I was honored and privileged to have the opportunity to actually train with Master Pai, but right now I'm training with the Grandmaster of this style, Glenn Wilson. And contrary to a lot of rumors, Glenn and I are not related. It just happens to be a coincidence that our last name is Wilson.
After doing about 35, 40 movies, I've decided now to get back into my martial art roots, something that I miss very much because when you're doing movies, you don't have too much time to study the traditional art.
I studied directly under Pai and had the opportunity and the privilege and the honor to actually train with him side by side very early on as a martial artist. And I believe that teaching that I got from him and this art was able to affect my whole life. My personal life, my business life, my professional life. I began kickboxing in 1974, and that's generally what people know me as a kickboxer, but I correct them and tell them I'm not a kickboxer, I'm a Kung Fu stylist, martial artist, and kickboxing is just a sport I participate in.
I'm just so glad that you have the opportunity to be part of our family, the Way of the Dragon.
Welcome to our training session on Baklin Pai Kenpo. Baklin Pai Kenpo is the traditional Kenpo form that was formed through the Pai family of Daniel K. Pai, brought to this country in 1953, expanded in a few areas and kept primarily secret. During those days, he taught the early 50s, 60s, he taught the traditional Kenpo, later on expanding into his Kung Fu and the Tai Chi Qigong disciplines. The Kenpo goes back to the very nucleus and basis of the training of Pai Lum Tao. We're going to go through a basic form today. This is a blended form of Form 1 and 2, being short form of the tiger and movements of the tiger. So we call it short movements of the tiger. It's a blend, so traditionally you're getting two forms in one, and the very foundation of Baklin Pai. Keep in mind, in the Baklin Pai Kenpo, which is the White Lotus discipline of Pai Lum Tao, to make sure that you relax with it, keep good foundation, strike hard with the fist, open with the hand, letting action continue, rapid fire. We're going to start off with the salutation, which is the formal salutation of Baklin Pai Kenpo, as taught by Daniel K. Pai to myself. First, we'll come and set. Now, when you set in Baklin Pai Kenpo, it's not down here, but it's up in this area here. Step into the square horse stance. Upward cross block. Turn, striking with double hammers out. rotating back in with minimal movement, striking out. Adjusting the stance, blocking out with the wings. Striking in with the double punch, capturing, stepping 45, driving in, dislodging and throwing the attacker. Double tiger claws tearing, a block. This is capturing a kick. Tiger claws across. Crane wing across. Striking now to the person in back with a short wing elbow. Stepping, double X block, double hammer fist. Step into your long bow, reverse ram punch. Adjust, reverse ram punch. Now with this motion here, you're going to move back, you wait here, come to an overhead block. As you come to the overhead block, you turn around on a 45-degree angle facing this way. Step down, tiger claw, trap, and break. Stepping up on your 45-degree angle facing here, cross wing block. And you'll see this is typical among many of your very traditional Kenpo forms. Stepping out, double outward back knuckle strike. Now what you're going to do is step up, block, strike, block, strike. Turn to tiger, 1, 2, 3. Crush, up to here. Out here with formal salutation. And set. And that's the short form movements of the tiger blended together, the very basis of traditional Baklin Pai. What is Baklin Pai Kenpo? Baklin Pai Kenpo is the theories and teachings of the White Lotus. Going back many generations of training, back to my teacher's teacher, which was Pai Po Fong, his grandfather. From Pai Po Fong to Grandmaster Daniel Kenpo, to myself, Glenn Wilson. Learning this directly from him. And we're happy to pass this lineage and tradition of the martial arts on to you. One thing is so important, we never lose our tradition. We never lose our system in art. And it's important that we have it captured and documented that we can teach others. Let's go through from the very beginning. Formal salutation. Begin. Now immediately with set position, coming up, that means you're ready. Fists are formed, you're in a straight position. 1. Here what we're doing is executing the upward block, utilizing the cross wing. 2. Striking to each side. Hammer fists out to each side, an opponent from either direction. Still maintaining strong stability. 3. Without focusing, using peripheral vision on each one, what you've done is come from this position, rotate in, but as it rotates in, comes out and strikes. Now those are sun fists striking out on each side. 4. Stepping now, utilizing a double block. This block has been executed in a downward 45-degree angle, blocking anyone on this side. Now when utilizing the fist, what's called gongchuan in the Baklin Pai, make sure that the body stays relaxed. The fist is hard. This is still hard, and you're crushing with that. The rest of the body nice and relaxed. It's a smooth, fluid, powerful system. Stepping in. As you're stepping in right on top of left, what's happened here is a punch has come in and they've blocked it. They've blocked it in this format. Now what's going to happen now, they're going to take and throw the opponent out. So what happens, these hands here, when he was back in his former position, they turn in. With the rotation of this wrist, they capture. And now they've thrown him out on a 45-degree angle. The power of the tiger is well known in so many disciplines. Utilizing Fujiao, it's a ripping and tearing, covering this middle center zone area. Any attack that may have come in there after the other attacker, previous attacker, has been thrown out of the way, the claws turn and powerfully rip to two directions. Now you notice there's a circular formation in the arms. Keep that circular formation there. Do not tighten it up. Claws are extremely tight, body relaxed. What's happened here is inverted, you come in, trap. Now somebody has executed a kick. As the kick was executed, the kick is trapped between here. The practitioner didn't have the time to get out of the way or to set into another stance. So immediately from the tiger position of tearing, he breaks. Coming underneath, extremely important, from this position here, after trapping, the tiger claw simply comes here. As you step and pull up, the tiger claw rips across anything that would be in that area. Now the tiger claw converts over. Once again, this is in Baklin Pai Kenpo, this is the balance of yin and yang. You went from a very powerful ripping action of tiger, which is the yang, very strong symbol in all your disciplines of Pai Lum Tao. This particular discipline, Baklin Pai Kenpo, blends it in right from the very beginning. Now you've gone to crane, power, and then cut, slicing. With this motion, you're striking back to the person in back, hitting with the elbow. As we've said so many times in our teachings and sessions with Baklin Pai, Pai Lum Tao, is that the elbow is the most lethal weapon used in short-range combat. In this particular case, extremely short range. As we go into the second series of it, we repeat the first motion. And as I stated earlier, in many of your very traditional Kenpo systems that evolved either out of Okinawa, Japan, filtrated from China, of course, through the islands into Hawaii, you will find a lot of this type of motion, utilizing that double X block. Repeating the same series as before, it comes from here, turns and rotates, and then strikes back to here. Notice there's minimal amount of movement. This is a shorter range series, and all of your Kenpo found in Pai Lum Tao are the shorter range series, as opposed to the Kung Fu disciplines, which are your longer range series. So you're going to see minimal movement inside. With here, the adjustment. Now, as we've said so many times, always watch the footwork, the leg work of a Pai Lum Tao practitioner. What this leg did here, this leg scooted aside, knocked him off balance. Go back one move. They're here, an attacker comes in. As they come in, this leg now turns and strikes here. Once they are dislodged here, it leaves them wide open for this. So, as I've said, you see this clearly. Don't forget the hidden movements. Repeating the same motion to the opposite side. The leg has scooted out to the side, dislodged their weight, then drive in with what's called reverse ram punch, striking with the 2 4 knuckles. This is the most complicated move of your basic series. What you're doing after punching in is you're shifting your weight back and actually coming up into the one-leg stance, your overhead block. But as you do, you're spinning around. Spin to your 45-degree angle, keeping this block here. As you spin around with the block and strike down, the first thing that you're doing is clawing. From this position here, you've spun around, claw, trap, and break. Now this is reinforcing their arm that was striking at you, and you're breaking. And we'll go into more detail on this. Come up on a 45-degree angle, once again using the basic cross-wing block in Gong Chuan. This series here would be anybody who is throwing an attack, step in and catch them either side of it. It could be on the outside or inside. Turn this way. Catching here or catching this way. And as it comes up quick and strong, so it's an actual strike with the arms. With this, you're stepping out, utilizing a back knuckle for a two-man attack, stepping back into the square stance. As I stated earlier, Bak Lin Pai has minimal amount of foot movements in their very basic forms. Everything is kept within one small area. Stepping up into the position here, a very inside, and this is a blocking routine that's not seen a whole lot in your newer martial arts, but your old traditional ones, you'll see this. It's a block, block, and then a strike. Let's do that move again. Back from the strikes here. Once again, block. This comes up to the blocking area, striking here. 1, 2. As you strike the sun fist, it's a quick inverted, not long distance, very short range, exploding in. Very important is to keep the elbows down. The wrist is bent. It's facing. As I stated, this is an old traditional move, not seen a whole lot in more of the newer systems being taught. Repeat it in the opposite way. Now the right side blocks the left punches. So on your first series stepping, it's block, punch. Now it's block, punch. Finishing it up from this position here, 3 traditional fujiaos, and these are circular formations, and these are found many, many times in your forms of Bak Lin Pai Kenpo. 3 here, circle, crushing with the backside, down, in this formation, the back knuckle area, crushing anything in its path, and chamber up. Then, formal salutation. And relax. What I'm going to do now that you've seen the short movements of the tiger is to break down the very basic formal salutation. Extremely important, because as you see other Kenpo systems, you'll see similar salutations to this. Starting in your position here, comes out into what is called the break stance of Pai Lum Tao or Bak Lin Pai. Make sure the elbows are down. They're not out in this position. The elbows are down. Hands are here. This clears the zone all the way across, keeping the right fist inside and hidden the left hand. Rakes across, clearing to this position, steps in with the foot turned out, strikes into its target. Fists come here, step back, break, up, and then back down. Hands remain at the side. Now with the right fist, whenever you're utilizing this to present in the form, the beginning or ending of this form, the right fist shows the power, the strength, the ability to defend yourself or others, sheltered and hidden inside the Yuan Chuan open hand, and then covered here. So in Pai Lum Tao, particularly what we're working right now, the Bak Lin Pai Kenpo discipline of Pai Lum Tao, it's kept in this order here. So make sure it's inside, always the right, covered by left. We're going to walk through the form again. Formal salutation, begin. Salutation. Now we're going to walk through and show the self-defense applications of our form. Okay, Jeff? Okay. Okay. Without the salutation, first move. Overhead block. The attack comes in, catching and striking. Understanding that when this technique is thrown, the whole intent is to crush, to break as it strikes. On each side, an attacker, hammer fist, hammer fist. Two different attackers coming in. Go back to your previous move. What happens, Bobby? He's in that position. The attackers come in to grab, possibly to strike. He goes through the move and strikes with the hammer. Out in this direction, strikes with the sun fist. Let's go through that move again. We'll show applications 1 and 2 of the attackers. Grabs. Application of this series, 1. Bringing them here, 2. And then out. As I stated earlier, that's why there's that minimal amount of movement. As we go back with this, that there's not a whole lot of wind up. It comes inside because this face is already here. It turns and goes in. The face has already been brought there by the previous motion. And in Pai Lum Tao, that's one of the facets of our art that is so fascinating, how we manipulate the attacker's body. Keep them bouncing up and down. With here, what's happened, the practitioner now has stepped, reset their footwork for this line. There's been 2 attacks. Go back 1 move. One attacker is going to come from this direction. The other attacker is going to come from this direction here. This attacker on this side will throw a kick. Bobby? This attacker on this side will throw a punch. Robert? What he's done is turned simultaneously, breaking this leg, and understanding once again the very theories of Pai Lum Tao, the history of it, its extremely brutal background. Very strong and powerful. The whole intent when those arms move are to break or crush. Not just to block, but to finish them off with that 1 move and continue on. So this arm is broke now. This leg is broke. He's ready for the next attack. Okay? What's happened here is a punch coming in. As the punch came in, he meets it and captures it. Okay? Punch. Captured it here. Now what he's going to do with these fists, and I'll show you kind of a close-up here. The fists have captured the punch. He's going to take and clamp down by turning his wrist. Now what he's doing is capturing the fist and turning, throwing his opponent. Once this is turned in, he can take the whole body and throw him. Back to your last move. Punch, capture. He wants to make sure now that he's not trying, and this is a common made error with beginner students. They try to manhandle or throw their attacker with this movement. That's not what you want to do. You want to throw the attacker with this movement here. And throws him out of the way. Thank you. Now with this motion, what happens is, go to your last move. He's here, an attacker will come in, grab at him. He simply turns the hands and tears out. Now what he tears is the total mass. When utilizing Fu Jiao, the tiger claw movements of Pai Lum Tao, full mass, it rips at whatever's in its path. When these moves are executed in this form, those actual moves slow down a little, and some tension is used for that tearing and capturing. A kick has come in from this angle. Once the kick is executed, Can't get out of the last move, so he simply turns and blocks it. Okay, let's try that, Bobby. Turns and blocks. As you can see, the kick is trapped between the hand and the forearm, breaking the leg. Okay. And tear. As you do here, go back to your last move. All you simply do is take the hand and chamber it here, right behind the arm. Now it chambers in a tiger claw position. Sets up and rips out. And that would be anything coming in its path. Once again, go back to your last move. Somebody coming up, they go for a strangle or an attack, and it simply rakes across, tearing anything in its path. Now he changes the entire virtue of the move. Go back one. We're at tiger. The tiger fears nothing. Power, strength, fierceness. Now the whole body must relax, and he's going to utilize a crane's wing. The balance once again of yin and yang. As he comes out, striking and cutting with the outside. And this would be for any motion, go back one, that was there. Say if he was captured or a punch came here or captured there, he would break loose and then break and cut that arm. As you can see, the hand motions are very short range, minimal amount of movement, maximum amount of outcome. Striking behind with the elbow. Turn the opposite direction. So he's in this position here. He's done his cut. Now an attacker comes up from behind. He simply drives in the elbow. Glances, catching the vision of it, but he doesn't have to adjust too much. Elbow catches the target. Back around. Goes back to this upward cross block. Remember, these break anything in its path. Come down from there, person on each side, as we saw in the short form section. Now we're in the movement section. Striking here, catching with a hammer fist to the low zone of each side, each attacker coming on the sides. Now the form changes up a little bit, and you're going to use a little bit longer range striking, even though we're still keeping it within the short range curriculum. Simply adjust the leg. Once again, in Pai Lum Tao, we want to understand what's just happened. Turn. He steps in with his left leg, grabs, he adjusts, kicks that leg out, and explodes in. So once again, let's do that again, facing on this 45 here. There you go. As you'll see it, this leg is stepped in, he takes that leg, breaks, turns, and strikes. Now what that's done, not only has it dislodged the weight of the attacker, it's turned him into a vulnerable position. Perfect position for the person defending themselves. Once again. And strikes in. Now the same move will be repeated on this side. Steps in, he turns and strikes him. Again. Turns and strikes him. Very good. Okay, straighten your positions. Now he's worked both sides with that. Breaking of the leg, striking with reverse ram punch. And around. Let's go back to that. We're going to break this one down slow. As I stated earlier, this is the most complex move of this very, very beginning form of Bak Lin Pai. Comes up with a block, one leg spins around to a 45-degree angle here from his initial start position. As he does his first move, repeat the hand strike, claw. And this is done in a circular motion, preparing to go to the next move. Okay, so that's a smooth flow. Here, here. Now what you do in between that is you utilize the willow palm, the blade part of the hand, to control and pull that punch and attack in even closer. Go through it very slow. Just landed, rake, catch, and crush. And as that comes around from this position here, this motion catches. Now the fingers are in this position, the forearm catches and breaks. Steps up into a 45-degree angle out in this direction. As he does, once again, he has the cross wing block. The right is on the outside. Stepping here, catching with back knuckle on both sides, 1 and 2. Okay, as we stated, we're going to rotate back, and these are once again very traditional inside hand techniques. Probably the closest you would see to this version would be some of your old Chinese systems that utilize the elephant trunk or elephant movement, would be the closest ones that actually would appear in this particular of hand positions. Go back to that again. Nice and slow. Block with the left, punch with the right. Now he's going to go just the opposite while maintaining this stance. Blocks with the right, punches with the left. Now what is he doing in this particular area? If you rotate this area, Robert. Okay, now with a hand grab, a uniform grab, any type of two-hand lapel grab, this would work very well. Let's adjust about right here. Okay, he's going to block and punch. He's going to block and punch. Very good. Thank you. As you can see, he moves his opponent once again, which is classical of our style. Okay, as we saw there in the short range positions, the left blocks first, the right executes that quick punch in. Very quick, short range. Now, what you do with the next attacker is you simply repeat that same motion on the opposite side. Blocking to the right, striking with the left. Clawing, 1, 2, 3, reversing and raking down with power striking. And these represent the crashing of rocks as far as the utilization of the back hand area, back knuckle side, following through. Let's go back to that with the claws. 1, and make sure that these are very short circles, not out too far. They reach out too far, you're out of zone. They should be 1, 2, 3. On this third one, they turn slowly and break down to here and up. Once again, let's go through those. Down and up. And then set. Very good, very good. Let's go through the entire form together. Okay? Once again, this is short movements of the tiger, and as you see this, you're going to see a rhythm develop. I'm going to walk them through it again with the commands, which keep them moving in pace. What you want to do from that point on is to just relax and get the flow of the form. Smooth, fluid, and powerful movements. Let your body be relaxed. Once again, start with stance, posture, technique. These are basic formulas of Bak Lim Pai. Stance, posture, technique, visualize, focus, execute. These are very, very important formulas to work. Okay? Formal salutation first. And as I stated, there are similar salutations in other Kenpo families. In Bak Lim Pai, this is the one. Salutation. Relax. Okay, let's move over here, gentlemen. What we're going to do is we're going to work some basic drills now that are found within the short form, movement form of the tiger of Bak Lin Pai. We're going to start by just working basic drills here, stepping and blocking. Once again. Now what you want to understand is the chi flow. You should not just step and block here. Let the air expel out. Let the movement move all the way from the base, getting maximum amount of power and chi flow with the move. Make sure that you're crossed middle arm, not up here and not down here. Middle arm, and that you're above the head, covering that middle zone. Ready? Shake it out. Our next movement we're going to work is simply going to practice from starting in this position, stepping into the square horse stance, circling your arms, and it'll prepare you for that double strike and working loose if there's an attack on each side. Starting here and back up. Now the movement should be smooth. The most common made mistake in this type of move is to get stiff and rigid, starting from here and then fighting themselves through their movement. You want the fist to be tight, the rest of the body to be very relaxed. As we say in the Pai Lum Tao system, is that you want this to be an iron ball on the end of a leather whip. So the body becomes strong but supple like leather. This is like iron. So we start in this position here. We're going to walk through it nice and slow. Again. Again. We're going to speed it up now, middle speed. Okay, ready? Check it out. As you see, one of the most important parts is to be able to balance your movements of keeping relaxed. Nice fluid motion. Very relaxed. At this point, you're bringing the air into the body. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. And then the power strikes out. At this point, the body's still kept relaxed, but the fist is tight. Extremely tight at this point. And it's important that you don't stiffen the body up. We practice a lot of chi flow. So you want that chi to flow and be expelled out the end of that technique. If you tighten that body up all through here, the chi is actually put into a break stand. It comes through and it can't continue and flow naturally. So make sure that we work it that way. The other way that we want to start is to start here and work the movements of a crane. And this is in all of your White Lotus system, lots of crane influence. As we start here, once again, we're relaxed, smooth. We step out and block. Now what happens here, the arms cross, and out. Cross and out. Okay? Do it this way. Cross and out. Okay, let's work it together. Once again, keeping nice and relaxed. Up. Again. Then you start to speed it up a little as you become more relaxed. Key part of this is to keep good hand formation. That fist is locked straight. 45-degree angle from here to here. 45-degree angle from here to here, covering two different zones, two opposite sides. So a lot is achieved with this, whether it would be a kick, a punch, or possibly two attacks coming from different sides with grappling. You're still able to break and move, locking your stance in, but yet being relaxed. Ready? Push. Up. Up. Shake it out. Now what we want to move from here is simply practice stepping in. With this position starting, you bring the hands up and step in. Now what you're doing here is it looks very basic, and one may say, well, that doesn't look like I'm accomplishing much. But understand the theory of what you're doing. You know your attack's coming in on a linear path from this side. You're actually stepping into it. So your timing and your technique better be right on. So you start here, moves, and captures. Here, and captures. Now notice how it's here, and notice how I tend to do this. It's because what this is a combination block and capture. And from that, you can hold them straight there as you break with a foot or come in, or you can throw them as done in the form. Or from this position here, you can lap over, take control, and explode from here. So a lot can happen. This is a very basic move that works well. Plus, it's a human nature, if somebody's throwing something at you, to put your hands up, to do something in this manner. What we're doing is simply taking it and turning it into something that's an art form. And we're passing it on here and block, utilizing the hard fist, body relaxed, back in this position. Practice it facing, or you can practice it sideways and turning. Particularly right now, let's just do it facing as your first basic start with the training. Here, and back up. Here, and back up. Don't confuse that sound with getting tight and rigid. Remember, in Pai Lum Tao's disciplines, no matter which discipline you're working in, that burst of air comes all the way from your tantien and explodes out. It's a constant air matching physical motion. Okay? Let's do it straight forward, gentlemen.
Yes, sir.
Keep it smooth. Hit. Up. Hit. Up. Hit. Up. Shake it. Our next move we're going to work is going to work with the Fujiao. Now, working with Fujiao, simply all we're going to do is start in a chambered position. From here, we're going to come out with cross hand and tear. And this will be a similar motion to what's in the form, but it's a little more systematic with its movement. Come out, and you're crossed. I'll turn here. As you can see, right over left. Now, the Fujiao tiger claw position is inside. So what you're achieving with this is virtually the same thing you just did with this, but you have the claws already turned in, facing the mass that they're going to try and conquer. And take from here. Now from here, take your claws, make sure they don't run into each other, and tear out with tension. Tension in the hands only. And then back. So here. Now notice if you're doing this properly, you'll feel down at the Tantien. This will fill up. From here, down here, explodes out, and then moves through. Now that very hoarse whistling sound that you're hearing is the training of Pai Lum Tao to breathe from the Tantien, expel the air out with the technique. It's not what we call synthetic breathing, which would, but it's from way down low. This captures, it can just give you tremendous more power, and it's very healthy for you. And that's a whole other segment and session of training on the breathing areas, the Qigong of Pai Lum Tao. Here. Keeping in mind, you must feel the virtues of the animal. You must display the virtues of the animal, and the tiger fears nothing. So you show that. Your attitude must show that in your training and in your technique. Shake it out. Very good, gentlemen. From this position here, we're going to practice keeping the hands at the side, circling them in from this position, and strike. A very smooth here, and down, and down. And this practice is to each side. One of the things you do not want to do is get stiff and rigid with this. Here, notice how my knees even bend slightly. That's just training I'm used to doing, is to pull that energy and out. Starting here. And then, of course, you would relax and speed it up. And back down. Ready? Push. Back. 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 back, hit, back, hit, back, hit, back, relax. Going back to our Fujiao, starting in this position here. 1, 2, and then on the third one, you want to put the tension. Now we're changing up it because you want to learn the speed and to relax and have the tension strength. So starting here, and back to here. Chambering with Fujiao, the claw side facing down. Turns, short circle, 1, 2, and then as you get right here and start to come out, and then notice the power, you got to put the tenseness, the tearing at it. Once again, and then the strength of it going in. Okay, these are your circular Fujiao. Check it out. Our next movement comes from the crane. We're going to practice from this position here. Outward. And then strike. So we're utilizing a 2 format protection. Cut. And then back. And we can rotate back and forth with this one. Now, one of the most common made mistakes and errors in forming this crane swing is when somebody comes in this position and they have their thumb out. Make sure as you're practicing this, so if you practice it on a heavy bag or with the partner, that thumb is in, or you'll break your thumb. Remember, the surface of striking is here with this outside wing, so you want the thumb tucked in and protected in this particular move. Here. When it reaches right here, it doesn't have to go out of zone. It's done what it needed to do if it got to here. And then strike. The head tilts slightly so that you can see through peripheral vision and aim your elbow. So you actually have 2. Cut in front, short elbow wing and back, and back. Cut in front, short elbow wing and back, and set. Starting with the left side, alternating left, right. Excellent. Shake it out. And that is some basic drills for working your first form that is put together in the Baklin Pai traditional Kenpo found within Pai Lum Tao. Now what we've done today for this session of training is to show you the short form of the tiger, movements of the tiger. Since they're very short forms, put them together and you continue. In Baklin Pai, the forms tell the history and story of the art. So if a person goes all the way through, they'll train with these forms and tell the whole story of this system, which is remarkable. That's why it takes so much to learn this system, because they get more complex and complex. And to master an art truly is to be able to tell the story of this art without ever speaking. To get on the floor and do the moves. And somebody can see the history, how rich it is. We're going to go through the entire form now, the entire session. Sit. Sit. Formal salutation. Begin. Citation, begin. Very good. With this one? We hope you have enjoyed your session and have learned a lot as far as the very traditions and basics of Bak Lin Pai, traditional Kenpo, found within the system of White Dragon, which is Pai Lum Tao. There are basically three divisions. You have Kung Fu, you have Kenpo, and then the internal comprising the Tai Chi and the Qi Gong. We hope you have enjoyed this. Train hard. We enjoyed having you.